Greetings from Kenwell. Today is Sunday, February 7th, 2021. All of Ontario is still in lockdown, and as you can see, I haven't had the opportunity to go to a hairdresser to get my hair cut. As usual, I'm going to tell you what I consider a cute little story. When you look at the little picture over here, you'll see a picture of our waterfall and pond that my brother-in-law Shane and myself dug out ourselves. We think we did a great job of that. Anyways, back in the spring of 2019, I decided it'd be really great to put some fish in there. So I went out, and money was no object. I bought 6 goldfish for 19 cents a piece, and they did reasonably well. By the fall, we were down to 3 of them. So I had to make a decision. Do I let them die? They're only worth 19 cents a piece. Or do I go out and buy a heater for them? And I found out the heater was worth about 120 bucks. Yeah, so I went out, paid the $120 for the heater, plus all the electricity throughout the winter time. And in the spring of 2020, I was anxiously awaiting, are they going to be alive? And yeah, they did. They lived. My babies were still alive. And they made it to, all 3 of them made it to this fall. Once again, I got the heater in there. It's amazing that what you will do for originally 19 cent fish. Anyways, I think it was a cute story. This week, I want to tell you why DNA shows that there is a God. DNA, as we all know, is deoxyribonucleic acid. And in our body, DNA is found in the nucleus of every cell. And in every cell, there are approximately 3 billion base pairs that form this twisted double helix DNA that you see over here to my right. Now, evolutionists will tell you that DNA developed by chance over millions of years. But I'm telling you, there is no way, I like to say, on God's green earth, that this could have happened by chance. What I want you now to do, I want you to take a look at the short little video that I have here.
Think of how many letters fit on a single page. And now imagine a stack of pages 300 feet tall. That's how much information is stored in the DNA inside every human cell, the entire human genome. If you sort through the 3 billion letters that make up the human genome, you find some surprising things. Only about 1% of the 3 billion letters directly codes for proteins. Of the rest, about 25% make up genes and their regulatory elements. The function of the remaining letters is still unclear. Some of it may be redundant information left over from our evolutionary past.
When you watch this video, aren't you amazed to see how complicated DNA is? It is incredibly complicated. You know, basically, when you see DNA, it screams out that there was a creator of this. You know, this complication just shows you there is a God who created this. And when you look at it, DNA is just one part of a single cell. Scientists have estimated the possibility of a single cell happening by chance is 10 to the power of 340 million. That means that number is 340 billion. Obviously, there is no chance of this ever happening. Now, getting back to the video, in the video you saw that it says a lot of our DNA, they call redundant DNA, that was left over from our evolutionary past. And in the video it says that we only use 2% of our DNA, and they say that 98% of that DNA is called junk DNA. But in the year 2007, there was this group called ENCODE. They discovered that all this so-called junk DNA has a purpose. And they found that all this junk DNA, it transcribed into RNA. So they have been finding that all this DNA has a purpose. Yeah, the reason it has a purpose is that God made DNA for a very specific purpose. There is a scientist named Eric Green, and Eric Green said this, and I quote, "The take-home message is, oh my gosh, this is really complicated." And DNA is far more complicated than we could ever have imagined. So I ask you, why is it that DNA is so complicated that the most brilliant of scientists have been having a tough time figuring it out? Well, it's obvious. God created DNA. And not only did God create DNA, He created us, the world, the universe, everything God created. Now, this comic that you see here, I love this comic. I remember the very first time I saw it, I laughed and laughed, primarily because it is true. So once again, when you look at how complicated DNA, I think you're going to have to agree that there is no way that this could have happened by chance. Believing that everything by chance does not give us any hope for the future. But I do want to tell you that Jesus can make a difference in your life. Here in Ontario, we have over a 50% divorce rate. And when you look at the church, it's around 25%, really not that much better. But here's an amazing statistic. Any couple that has committed their life to Jesus Christ and they pray together, and I love to add praying together, holding hands, because that's what Darlene and I do. The divorce rate is essentially zero. I want you to think about that. Zero. Simply, any couple, they commit their lives to Jesus Christ and they pray holding hands on a very regular basis, the divorce rate is zero. That is an incredible statistic. So give God a chance. Jesus Christ can do amazing things in your life. So until next time, may the good Lord be with you.